is Monday, May 20th. And if I could have, we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Our newest member is going to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now that we've taken care of that part, I am going to call for a 2-minute adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Okay. I left my glasses in the car. I can't read the damn thing.
Okay, all right. Do it. We're timing you 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Village Manager Ryan is going to be late. He's, yeah,
There you go.
but
There he
as I
No,
came
he's
in
not.
from getting
He's
my
right
glasses, he
here
was
before we
making his
even
way
adjourn.
in, so.
All right, there he is.
All he missed so far was the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
I make a motion to return back into meeting.
Support?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we will do a roll call, if I may.
No. Knivel.
Here.
Brooks.
Here.
Green.
Here.
Hayden.
Here.
Randazzo.
Here.
Mold. Here. Quisenberry.
Here. All right, that takes care of number 3. Number 4 is the approval of the agenda. We have 13 items in total on our agenda for today, and if someone would like to approve it, we can move on down the line.
Make a motion to approve the agenda for this evening, May 20th, 2024.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Next is the approval of the council minutes. This village council held a meeting April 22nd, 2024, and at that meeting, minutes were taken that corresponded with the matters that we discussed. Those are in your packet. If anybody has any questions about them, we'll make a motion and discuss it.
Make a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes of Monday, April 22nd, 2024.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Does anybody have any further discussion on those minutes? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the minutes are now official. Next are items that we accept. These are correspondences that come into the village office, or they could be minutes from other meetings that we aren't necessarily a party to. All those correspondences, because they're official in nature, get accepted by the village, and we don't need to vote for their approval because we typically don't know what they are. But they are in our packet. If you want to review them and have any questions, we can direct you to the right place. Other than that, all those accepted items listed on here, which is the Planning Commission, the DDA, the attorney invoice, the finance report, and a revenue and expenditure report from April 2024. We will accept those at this time. Next is the approval for disbursements for period ending May the 15th. 2024.
Make a motion to pay our disbursements in the amount of $18,414.44 for April 15th, 2024 to May 15th, 2024.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. That is a financial matter which requires a roll call vote, and if I may have one of those now, that'd be great.
Brooks.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Hayden.
Yes.
Randazzo.
Yes.
Mold. Yes. Knivel.
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes. Okay, that's takes us, brings our bills all paid up until the May the 15th. Next is public comments, and that's a portion where if anyone came to the meeting would like to speak to the village council, they may do so at this time. If you want to raise your hand, please, you can stand up and speak to the council.
Thank you very much. Randy Levaster, Oxford Township. I'm here today to introduce myself. I'm running for state representative, Republican, running in the primary this August against the incumbent. Just a little bit about me. I'm a real estate attorney by trade. I had my own real estate law practice for the last 25 years. And during the Great Recession, I started a small company that helped people reduce their property taxes. And very happy to say we're able to help the owners of thousands of homes throughout the state of Michigan receive property tax relief. One of the things that I want to do when I get to Lansing is help bring things into balance as far as budgetary matters. We've seen the state of Michigan's budget grow significantly in the last several years. Just a few years ago, we were just over $50 billion a year in expenditures. Now we're over $80 billion. And that type of growth, I think, is irresponsible. I'd like to see state government reduce its size, help people and help communities keep more funds in their own pockets, keep the monies local, not going off to Lansing. That's where my passion is. I want to help people and help communities keep more of their own funds. If I'm elected state representative, I expect to be a representative that's going to be working closely with communities. I'll be accessible to the public. I'll be accessible to local governments, letting you know what's going on in Lansing, but more importantly, learning what your concerns are and how I can help out as your state representative. Appreciate meeting with you tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for the introduction. Is there anyone else here that would like to address the village council? And I don't see a mob running for the podium, so we'll just assume we're good for that for right now. Leads us to items from trustees. I'm going to start down at this far end, if I may. With Linda.
Excuse me. Ryan and I did meet with, excuse me, the Parks and Rec Master Plan. We had a small meeting with the gentleman that's helping us, and we did create the survey. So the survey is out. Please encourage all of your village neighbors and friends, and even those in the outlying areas. It does have a spot where it says, do you live in the village or the township or elsewhere? To fill that out to see what kind of needs and wants our community has as far as the next 5 years of our Parks and Rec plan. I was interested in finding out as we put this all together that we have many of these parks in our own village. I kept thinking this is a township, it's under the township, but a lot of the parks are in the village, so definitely something we need to be aware of and part of.
Okay, thank you. Kay?
I just wanted to see if we could set up a personnel committee meeting, but I would like it to be the entire board. I think we need to do this before the budget's approved. I think we need to talk about some issues and see which way we want to go.
Okay, would that be something we could do before our budget workshop?
I was
or-
thinking we could do it that night,
Okay.
if, you know, everybody could be, I think our meeting's already at 6, so if it were,
Well, we could still meet at 6. We would just, from 6 to 6:30 would be the committee meeting you mentioned, and then at 6:30 we could move straight into the budget. I think if everybody could make it at that time. I can always make it earlier than, I can make it
Okay, but
5:30 personally.
I guess I thought it would be a meeting between just the council and Ryan and you.
Oh, okay. Close.
Without, a closed session.
Got it,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So we'd like to, you're suggesting we have a closed session before we move into the budget workshop?
Yes, please.
Okay, and,
Well, you need an hour, I think we would do, we need an hour, or will 30 minutes suffice?
I don't know.
I know.
we don't have to hold ourselves to the time.
Well, we have to put out meeting notices for.
Yeah, well,
so-
when they start, we never know when they're gonna end. So-
No,
This is true.
but is the one still starting at 7? The budget workshop, that's all.
Well,
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
what we had planned or
It's 18
discussed
hours.
was,
About making a
that-
special meeting. I think
was
that's
that
on the agenda tonight.
was that during the budget workshop, we were going to adjourn and go into full session to physically approve the budget that we're gonna be presented with ahead of time. And
Okay.
that way, we don't have to do that at the end of the June meeting. So if we wanna stick with that plan, it's fine with me. If we wanna,
That works, as long as we have time to discuss a few things.
I think a half hour, we can get it
Okay,
done.
all
I
right.
mean, and if we can't, we'll just kind of put it into high gear and move a little bit faster, but,
So just
Alrighty.
make that part of the agenda for the special meeting instead of a
yeah.
workshop.
Sure. Well,
Sounds good.
the agenda then would be would begin, call to order, then closed session, then back into open session,
Yeah.
then the budget workshop, and then go back onto the record again
And approve it.
to approve it.
Yes.
And have a public hearing in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I.
And then
That's right.
action.
We'll get them all.
Well, we'll get them all. We can do
Yep,
it.
we will get them all. Okay, I take it, Ryan, you understood what Kay was speaking of,
I think so.
and you're gonna be able to put that into the, what we need to do for the next agenda.
Yeah, when we get down to new business F, we'll add that to the agenda for June 10th, and probably still start at 6 PM, I'm hearing.
Okay.
Let's start, change that agenda, include that item.
Okay,
The only thing I would ask is to just ensure that if we go into closed session, that we have proper cause related to OMA.
We do.
And we
Yeah.
do.
Okay. As long as we have that covered, then I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
now,
That's
most
it.
matters of personnel and things of that would qualify for closed session.
Yeah, it
Typically.
depends. Typically, somebody needs to request that it's there.
I just heard Kay request it.
Yeah, but it can't be, well, it depends on what
It-
type of matter.
It can be if there's 4 or more of us that agree with it.
Mhm.
And we just want to bring you up to date on some things. That's kind of what this is all about, because I think you know, I want the whole council to be aware of what's going on, not just the personnel committee.
Okay, I mean, I'm all for it. Let's, because we're gonna add that closed session, I just soon make this a roll call vote. But as Ryan mentioned, we're gonna address
Well,
this.
this is
When we
just
get there,
items
we
from
will,
trustees.
yeah.
We'll address
We're
it
not-
when we come up on number F. So we'll just, that'll be noted for now, Kay, and we're gonna get it a little ways down into the new business.
I came up to the spring market on Saturday, and it was a beautiful day, and there were, it was pretty well attended, I think, and everybody, from what I'm told, the vendors were all pretty happy about it, so we're off to a good start for the summer. And the only other thing, I did not know this, and I just thought I'd share it in case others don't know this. Did you all know that Hamilton's is a authorized shipping store for UPS?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there I- now I know.
And if you need
Well, all right.
FedEx, go down the street to the Dollar General.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well,
Yep.
see, you guys live right here. I live on the fringe.
Then you got Brown's Jewett Center too.
Oh, okay. All right, well, anyway, I'm happy to note
Okay.
that that's here.
Ashley?
Oh, I don't think I have
Yeah, probably.
anything, no.
I'm gonna follow your lead, because I don't have anything either.
Nothing from DDA?
Yeah, I went there this morning. It was pretty dull.
A lot of
Okay.
discussion, yeah.
How was the farmer's market where DDA discussed? 'Cause it looked like a good turnout. I thought it was a beautiful day, but,
Yeah, and that really wasn't the kickoff of the farmer's market. That was just a
no,
something,
that was
a
the
different
spring
event.
market.
It's not till June
Yeah,
15th.
that's the spring market.
Is that the
Yeah.
Saturday? Is the kickoff of the farmer's market, yeah.
I know we approved a
But
permit
anything
for
in
it.
the meeting?
Who'd they hire there, Ryan? Somebody was.
There's a new intern.
Brand new
this summer.
intern.
Her name's Olivia. She'll be
Oh,
helping
good.
with graphic design and some promotional stuff and farmer's market things and a variety of,
Nice.
Good.
yeah. She's a student at Albion.
And the people that attended the conference in Alabama gave us an update, but it was nothing more than a fun time, and they learned a lot. So that's about all I got. Okay, Melanie.
All right. Just to piggyback off both the farmer's market, or the spring market, very nice and what beautiful weather. The first sign was installed, and I'm sure Ryan will talk more about that, but I was so excited. It's by Rite Aid coming into, from Groveland into the downtown of Ortonville, so, and it looks nice. And a shout out to Will Conway, he painted that at his place of business. That's,
Cool.
they fabricate signs, so Will got to paint it, which I think is pretty cool. Every time he drives by it, he can tell his daughter. The oath of office, I don't know if you guys get these notices, but as a result of Proposal 2 implementation, the clerks now must account for ballots that come in 6 days following an election.
Right.
So just wanted to make sure that you all were aware of that. General Law Village Act is reflected to December 1st, moving forward. And we don't necessarily have to go in and change anything, it's just something that all of you should be aware of as council members.
That was in the review that we got last time that we spoke about, right?
Okay, and they sent out, I'm on an email
Oh,
list
cool.
that I get stuff, I get inundated. So just two things, the intergovernmental agreement, I was gonna put it on the agenda and make a motion so we get a draft by the next meeting. So I did not, but I am asking that we can get a draft for the intergovernmental agreement, especially since we are working on that concession stand and pickleball is open. And then the only other thing is, are we going to have a meeting with the township clerk? Ryan, I know you were looking into doing that for elections and community engagement.
Yes. Meet the Candidates Night is at the Edna Burton Senior Center on June 6th at 6:30
Oh,
p.m.
she's doing it as part of that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is she gonna be like the moderator? Or is,
The clerk?
or is that someone else?
I think Faye.
That's usually
is.
Faye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
Okay.
not scheduled a separate engagement.
Okay, so if we can't make it to that, so I just think that's beneficial because I don't think that everybody is up to speed with where they need to be. And it is a confusing year, so it's not that that's a bad thing for most people that, but it's something that as elected officials, we need, everybody should know. And we have, just as a FYI, we have 5 seats that are up. Not 4, 5 seats, so.
Is there an appetite for a village-only event?
I would love it, but, that's
Well, did I hear you say you might not make it to that, Melanie?
correct.
Because I think Linda also has a conflict. So it might behoove you,
I
maybe?
mean, I think how many people, to me, it depends how many people are on the ballot. I mean, if their choice is us or us, they should
Oh,
just come.
it's about election laws and how they've changed.
Well, that's different.
Any resident should be able to come to you and ask,
Okay.
and you should be up to speed on that all the time. And I know that there were so many changes that,
I thought it was just meeting the candidates, that's why I said. if
no,
you're
no,
meeting
no,
the
I'm
candidates-
talking about the
Oh, okay.
actual voting elections. And she was actually going to discuss, I thought, precinct delegates, what they are, if people were, that's what I got out of that, correct?
Right, there'll be questions for candidates, but also update on election procedure and things like that.
Voting.
The deadline for getting on the ballot and the write-in process and the 9 days early voting impacts, as well as absentee ballots, and there's lots of
Oh, that
lots of
kind
fun things to know about.
That's all I have.
That's good.
All right.
Okay, Larry?
Yeah, we did have a streets committee meeting, and we had representatives from planning commission there too, so we discussed streets, we talked about how the streets fit in the capital improvement plan, and some of our thoughts about how do we better plan for building up fund balance to be able to handle larger projects. So I know those are some topics that we discussed there, and I'm sure we will see some things probably in the capital improvement plan that the planning commission's been working on to hopefully reflect some of that discussion. So it was, I thought it was a pretty beneficial meeting, it was a pretty good meeting. I don't know when we'll have the next one, but probably not too far in the future,
Next
I
couple
think.
of weeks, yep, I'll talk to you after.
Okay. And then I also saw that the next SEMCOG General Assembly is going to be in June. I think it was the 26th, I don't have the
It's
email in
that
front of me.
Thursday, I want to say 27th. Yep,
27th?
it's right on Campus
Okay,
Martius.
27th, maybe, yeah. So, and I'm assuming that Ryan and I will probably try to attend that. And, yeah, the spring market looked good. I'm looking forward to see the rest of the events start going too. And always got to put in a plug for CERT. These events that they're coming up, we always need volunteers to help manage things. So anybody who's looking for a way to give to the community, I highly recommend volunteering on our CERT team.
Yep.
And they would contact you, Larry, if they wanted to do that.
We have a website online and a Facebook page, or you can just contact the fire department for an application.
I mean, if somebody in the audience, you know, online
Yeah.
wanted to do that.
And I don't know if we have a link to our CERT site on the village
believe-
website. But we might want to see about, there should be one on the Brandon site, but I don't know if there is or not. But you can find us online, just look for Brandon CERT.
Okay, thanks. Tony?
No, I have nothing.
Okay, that takes us past items from trustees, brings us to unfinished business, and we must be extremely effective because we don't have any. But we do have a lot of new business. And the first of which is the purchase of a backhoe and loader. We've discussed this many times, and apparently we're either already have or in the process of purchasing these. Mr.
Ryan?
Mr. Mattis?
Yeah, we're not at the point of no return. We are awaiting council's approval. But in process to get the ball rolling, it takes a couple weeks to put everything together. They haven't had to special order anything, nothing's custom. But pending your decision tonight, we'll press go and could receive it in the next couple of weeks.
I guess we can approve it again, but I thought we already did.
We
It's
did it
more
up
money.
to before, yeah, and this
think it was-
exceeds it. Yep.
Yeah, something
Yeah, I
that's
think it was up-
75,000
yeah,
or
up to
something.
No, it's
80,
92.
I think,
It
but-
was 80,000.
So I'll recommend a motion to approve the purchase of the Kubota loader backhoe from Flint, New Holland at a price of $92,468.
Support?
I assume it's in our budget.
It's a little over.
We've got, Ryan did explain in his note that we
Yep.
do have some money we
I
can
know.
shift around to cover it, so.
What about the, is that the total amount, Ryan, or is that, we have to add the 950 for the forks?
That's without the 950 for forks. If we want to add it, we may. Up to you.
Well,
Can-
What
do
do
you
you-
need
do
it?
you
I
need
mean,
it?
that
Yeah.
should have been part of the
We do.
total.
We do now or later. So if we want to do it now, we can. Or we can wait and do
Or
it.
now later, like 3 years from later, or?
No, like a couple of months.
Okay.
Okay.
new-
So do you want to
budget.
amend?
So I'm going to amend it to 93,418.
418 or?
You need some
No.
good math.
No.
Yeah, that.
Hold on, sorry about that.
Be 92,968. How
Yeah,
much was it?
518.
518.
Yeah, sorry,
Thank you.
93,518.
Okay.
Okay, there's a new motion with the amount being clarified. Is there support for it?
I'll
Forks.
support the amended motion.
Thank you.
Okay, roll call vote?
Green,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Randazzo,
Yes.
Mold,
Yes.
Nivell,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes. Okay, we have some equipment for our DPW now. Recording secretary pay. Apparently, this came up at our budget meeting, but is it some sort of a flat rate of, it was $55, now it's $75?
Right, it's been 60 for, if it's our clerk who does it, and it's 75 for a sub. And so this is just to reset that discrepancy, make it 75 for all meetings. My only question is I wasn't sure of an effective date. If we want to just say starting tonight and going forward, starting with the new fiscal year on July 1, 2024,
I'd
make it
Well,
retroactive.
We talked
We've got
about,
options.
I mean, we've got to go back to some conversations that were had early on, and I believe Amber at time of hire was under the, impression, thank you,
Yep.
that she would get that $75 when she, became a full-time employee. So I don't know that it's fair to start it like today, or June 1st. I think we need to go back, and it's my understanding it goes back to January 23.
When Amber started, correct?
Is it, I couldn't remember the start date.
Yeah, my official start date was January 2nd, 2023.
Okay, so then after you would
Did
have
you
been
sign
your
paperwork
probationary
to that
period.
effect, that you would get those? Was that in any kind of employment?
It was in our conversation
Okay.
at the time of hire.
Okay.
It was. It was.
No, I'm
'cause
just
that
asking
one-
to see if, because that way we know how to better our
Do you want to make a
packets.
motion and then
Yeah, I think we need to have a motion to discuss.
When was her 6 months up? I guess
Okay.
January, February, March, April, May, June,
July.
July.
Roughly July
July
1st.
1.
So
23.
July 1, I would like to make a motion that we back pay Amber for the recording secretary pay difference back to July 23.
July 23.
support?
So, Kay, your motion does not specify that the new rate is going to be $75 per meeting.
Well, that's what we were talking
regardless.
about, but I can put that in there. It's
Yeah, I
going to
mean,
be
the
raised
motion
from
should be
60
about,
to
should
75.
There you
state that
go.
it goes to 75 per meeting, and retroactive to July 1st would probably be more accurate way to put it.
You can read it from here,
Got it.
okay?
Was that supported?
That's for our packet.
Okay, July 1st. Making the change effective for all meetings in the current year and this year. And
Current fiscal year.
it'll be
Yeah.
$15 an increase, she's got back pay of $15 coming for all those months. And then starting today, I guess, it will be $75, just like we pay everybody else. If you want to write that up, Amber, works for me.
Will do.
And was that supported?
Yes.
Yes.
I support it.
Okay, roll call vote on a,
No, I thought we could, I
Hey.
thought since we were discussing it, I thought maybe there'd be some discussion, because I have a question, and I just.
oh, go, yeah, we
I
won't,
just-
we don't have to
and I-
vote yet.
I don't know, you got me into this whole thing, we gotta do it in order. I got yelled at once because I discussed too early.
That's good.
Now I'm trying to do it in the right order.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I was wondering why it took this long to figure this out. That's my only question.
I don't know.
Answer for that.
I've been bringing it out, and I've finally gotten cranky about the pay. So
squeaky wheel?
Yes. That's basically the fastest version of it.
And honestly, Kay and I both thought that this was brought to council and we voted on it. This whole time, we thought that, because we talked about it in the personnel meeting and said, yes, we
So
need
you
to.
thought she was getting paid more
We
and
did.
then found out, okay.
But then we realized there was never an official motion made.
Okay,
And all this time, we thought there was, so,
okay.
yeah.
I just, like I said, I just wanted some background because I think it's odd. It's hard to sit here today and say, we
Right.
need to go back to
Mhm.
July of 2023, and I think,
And if Amber would not have said anything, we would still be continuing on thinking that, it,
okay.
so I'm glad she said something.
That was only my question.
Okay, are there any other matters to discuss regarding the recording secretary pay? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Hayden,
Yes.
Randazzo,
Yes.
Mole,
Yes.
Nivelt,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes. Takes us on to DPW laborer. We have hired somebody to replace a candidate that we lost. His name is Paul Livo? Livo. Okay, he has not actually started yet because he is a bus driver and he's waiting for the end of the school year to begin his full-time job with the village. He does get a break in the middle of the day because apparently they do a morning route and an afternoon route. And on his free time, he has been over there visiting Bob and the DPW other guy, just to, get himself familiar and just to show some interest in wanting to start as soon as he can. What do we think, it was June 13th or something like that?
June 10th.
10th is that Monday. Yep.
Okay. All right, anyway,
I'd like to make the motion to recommend that the village council move to hire Paul Livo for the position, of DPW labor at the rate of $22 per hour, 40 hours per week, beginning June 10, 2024.
Support?
Okay, are there further questions regarding the hiring of Mr. Livo?
I only have one. How did we decide on the rate? Because we
Okay.
discussed the rate last year
Ryan?
before we hired, and I just thought it was interesting. I have no problem with the rate, but I just wondered.
It's,
Last time we
to my
didn't.
liking, you're right, we didn't discuss it, but I like it when we can stay as consistent as possible with people that are doing the same type of work. So it's always, to me, been a problem when, two guys are doing the same job, one's getting more than the
Yeah.
other.
I just know we discussed it last year, so I just was kind of curious as to, and I'm fine with it.
We did. We were trying to pay a fair wage, so they stay, not leave us.
Well, we also ran into an issue last year because we hired a guy in June, and that person wasn't getting 22, but starting in the new budget year, which was only a couple weeks later, they got an 8% raise, which
Right.
took them up to over
Right.
the 22.
Right, and-
So it just happened to be a timing issue with when a raise was to take effect versus when somebody actually started.
Right.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I want to commend him for finishing out the school year, which, thank goodness, he didn't leave them on a lurch.
Yeah.
And
Nope.
I.
Sounds like a good guy.
It's a
Yeah,
responsible,
and I like that, I respect that already.
it's
so.
a responsible thing to do.
Usually that means the kids like him, so.
Yeah.
I probably
yeah.
would have pronounced it
That's it.
Levo, because I had worked with too many Europeans.
I've never heard that last name.
Okay, and because we are hiring somebody at a rate of pay, is there any other discussion on the matter? Hearing none, if I could have a roll call vote.
Randazzo,
Yes.
Mold,
Yes.
Nivelt,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes. All right, welcome aboard, Mr. Livo. Leads us to Planning Commission reappointment.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Pete Burgett to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term ending May 31st, 2027.
Support?
Old Pistol Pete, all right. He gets 3 more years.
Is that his nickname on the force? Was it?
Is there any more discussion about the appointment? Hearing none, it isn't, and because it is an official appointment, I would like to have a vote.
Mold,
Yes.
Nivelt,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Randazzo,
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes.
You'll get another one of those when we have another candidate. So there's currently an open seat to be filled, so.
Sherman Park concession stand, RFP awarded. I think this is, we had that out for bids to build our concession stand, and apparently the bids have closed, and they were varied by a large amount, but apparently Ryan has recommended somebody here. Wilton Building Company.
I'll go ahead and make the motion. I recommend a motion to accept the bid of Wilton Building Company for the Sherman Memorial Park concession stand on the condition that the DNR approval process be completed as appropriate.
Support?
Okay, and that's a local company, I do believe, right?
It is, yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, any
Yeah.
other discussion on Wilton getting the bid?
I know that I asked Ryan how we stood on this because we looked at the 2 lowest bids and they were very comparable. Neither one exactly filled out our bidding process. And so I painstakingly tried to check them off and make sure everything was covered. And there were little inconsistencies, but nothing major. And in the end, it seemed that to go with local would be the easiest way to make sure everything was done correct. And we had a easy contact to make sure that we were online. I know that Ryan said he has some hoops to jump through for the DNR, and that's why that second part of the motion is in there.
Right, and we're still working through that process. Our grant coordinator is out of town the second half of last week and all of this week, so we haven't completed the process yet. But we've been talking through it, and like you said, the apples to apples comparison is difficult. I think the justification is good, that the concrete price is greatly different.
Oh, yeah, that was
between the
good.
2 low bidders, and the 2 low bidders by $40,000.
Right.
it stands to reason. But we will complete the process as appropriate.
I have a question though. How
Yes.
how long does it normally take for the DNR approval once it goes?
No one knows.
No one knows.
Notice the
Whenever?
number on the grant is from the trust fund TF19. It means it was awarded in 2019.
Oh,
It takes a little time to work through these grants.
got it.
But once we start, this project will take 3 weeks to complete.
Yeah, that's exciting.
We won't start until the DNR says start.
We're
Gotcha.
hoping that it is to the final stages of days and not weeks or months. Or years.
Exactly.
Put it mildly, yes, we are.
This has been a very, very
Long process.
Yes, it has been.
It's gonna look very good when it's done.
Okay, we did
painful process.
approve.
Oh, we didn't vote on it yet.
Yeah,
Can I vote?
no, I was gonna say, we did have a motion to approve an award that we were gonna offer out. This will be the official process of you being able to call them tomorrow and say that the board approved them, if in fact the roll call vote turns out the way I think.
Nivell,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Hayden.
Yes.
Randazzo.
Yes.
Mold.
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes. Okay, takes us to the 2024-2025 budget hearing and adoption. I think we had already picked a date of June 10th for that event to take place. We were hoping to hold a public hearing at somewhere in the middle of that. And after the public hearing, vote on approval of the said budget that we then had our workshop about. And I believe based on Kay Green's request, the beginning of the meeting will be a closed session to discuss personnel matters.
Yeah, I think we need some kind of a motion to do all this, right?
Oh, we do.
So I make a motion to change the June 10th workshop to a June 10th special meeting to include a closed session for personnel and also a public hearing. For the 2024-25 budget.
Support.
And just for clarification, 6 o'clock was a good enough start time for everyone?
Works for me.
Yes.
Except you?
No.
And this
Oh, okay.
room is available to us if we want it.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay, Mr. Hayden made a motion, and I think someone supported it?
I did.
Okay, Tony supported it.
Do we want the location
that's okay.
included in the motion, or?
And just in
Have it
case,
on the
Have to be.
agenda.
when he puts out the posting, he'll put it in there. If something happens, we'll get kicked out of here.
Yeah,
By
'cause
then.
I think the original one was to have it in the old town hall.
Well, because we're gonna have a public hearing, and we don't know if there's
Yeah.
gonna be public show up, I'd just as soon have it in the little bit more
Well, it does
of
say
a-
Brandon Township offices on this one.
Okay, yeah, I guess that is. right.
Okay. All right, roll call vote on Mr. Hayden's motion.
Brooks,
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Randazzo.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Hayden. Randazzo.
Yes.
My God. Mold.
Yes.
Nivell.
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes, okay. That gets us,
Extra $15 getting to you?
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should make it official at about 8:30 tonight. That gets me through my portion of this meeting. The village manager is going to update us on 4 items, actually 3, and item D is other, not sure what it is yet. Maybe there's a surprise
It's a
there.
surprise, yeah.
But nonetheless, Mr. Mattis, if you don't mind taking over.
Sure, I'll go quick. Capital improvements plan is underway. Planning Commission reviewed it at their May meeting. They will probably recommend it to you. It'll be presented at the June 10th meeting. It'll be informational at that point, and then we can work to adopt it at the June 24th meeting, especially in light of streets and other conversations with, long-term planning involved. It's good to just keep that in mind. The village received a request for a variance, so that'll go to the ZBA at an upcoming meeting. That's you, so welcome aboard, Ashley. I'll tell you what a ZBA is.
Got it.
But more to come. We'll work through that process over the next weeks and month or so. That may be at the June 24th date. It may be after. We'll see. So stay tuned on that, but I'd be glad to tell you more offline. There's the link for the survey is in your packet for the Parks and Rec Master Plan, so please encourage others. You've got a copy of it with your packet as well. And then other updates. We sold our 2002 truck at RepoCast. So our purchasing policy says we have to dispose of village assets at auction. So we did that through RepoCast just up the road. Received a princely sum for our 2002 Salter of just over $3,000. So we're glad to part with that in the appropriate way. We are working on our list of qualified providers of services. So you'll be hearing more about that through RFPs and things like that, RFQs. We're trying to hone in on the best vendors possible. The Friends of Ortonville Trails had a couple of work days earlier in May. If you were to park on Candace Court, you can now walk all the way to the creek pretty obviously without getting lost or stumbling onto someone else's property. So it's pretty cool. We're working to make that as usable as possible. And there's some very cool volunteers that are helping with that effort, so thank you for that. And then Meet the Candidates Night coming up at the Senior Center on June 6th at 6:30. I think that's everything I've got for you. The other was the wayfinding sign, but take a look at it next time you're headed into town.
How did the meeting go this evening? It was regarding the property?
So I was over talking about trails with the superintendent and the school board this evening, just to get the conversation started of, we know there's some interesting parcel lines and who owns what, and the old train bridge is on school property versus what's on village property, and to just start with where are we at on that. It's a conversation that is a long time coming, since the mill pond stopped being a mill pond in the 50s probably, and it's one that has been kicked back and forth between entities and everybody else. So to try to get some kind of agreement on who does what and how there to connect the village holistically by way of Harvey Swanson Elementary that's where we started. And so now it's to the school to decide how they want to engage in that at this point. So we'll follow up tomorrow with Superintendent Stone about where to now.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Any feedback yet from Township or Fire Department about open burning ordinance?
We've talked about it a little bit. I don't have a pat answer for you. I'm sorry.
Just wondering if you'd heard anything. I don't really need
Yes.
much.
There's some interest in having the same ordinance for the village and the township, for burning and things like that. And there's some leeway in there. I don't know the best way to summarize that, but it is much more enforceable if they're the same. That to have every firefighter know the boundaries and things like that, and where the rules are different, and where your acre's only 2.4 acres here, but it's 2.6, so it's different and things like that. It's much easier, much simpler if they're the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they have to be, but it means if they're the same, the fire department enforces it. If they're different,
Yeah.
it probably means I enforce it.
Well,
That is,
my main
not
thought is we
ideal.
definitely will want significant alignment between the two, but there might be some minor differences that should be easily enforceable. I really feel everybody in the village needs to follow the burn counter, and that's a pretty easy thing to just put in there and say, if you're in the village limit, you have to follow the burn counter. Other than that, I think they can pretty much be the same, and I don't think that should be a big issue for fire department to be able to enforce that minor difference. But, that's my main concern about that, but we'll see what happens. And I think that it probably would, once we have some feedback from them, I think that we should try to get planning commission involved to review it too, and work together with them.
And that'll be the venue for it, is planning to review the ordinance and.
Yeah.
Even if there's certain days, don't we still have to get a permit from the fire
Yes.
department?
Yeah.
That was my understanding.
But the Brandon Township permits are valid for a year. And if you have a 3-acre or larger lot, then you are excluded from following the burn schedule. And the problem is that there are a few properties in here that are larger than that within the village. And they could burn every day of the week, but that smoke still is gonna go and affect all the other residents. That's why I
Okay.
think that it's maybe not appropriate for the density of our community. But thank you for the
Mary
update.
Kasuba, was there anything happening at the old mill we should know about?
Just the reenactment, the Civil War reenactment and a cemetery walk on Memorial Day.
Right.
So it's,
It's very cool.
What time does that start on Memorial Day, just so it's on the
The
record?
parade, the stuff.
Steps off at
9:30.
9:30.
Okay,
the Civil War reenactors will walk in the parade,
okay,
and then they will have a walk through the cemetery when they are through with the memorial.
okay.
Okay.
So, and then they're gonna come back to the real activities.
Nice.
That'll be really, really nice.
Yeah, I hope everything goes really well, because there's been a lot of people that have put a lot of work and time
And,
I bet. Boy, that mill looks good, though.
Pardon me?
That mill looks good. You know, it's just getting people inside that mill, too, because once someone sees it, they can't get over it.
It's getting them there.
I know.
Yes.
But once they're in it, they're like, wow, this, you know, you get that same from
And
everybody.
they have a new Civil War display in the military room, and it is a beautiful display.
Oh, good, I'll have to see that, because I haven't seen that
I
yet.
encourage each of you to check it out.
Oakland County's historian Carol Egbo has been very helpful in that. She's local.
But she's
She-
great, isn't she?
She's
She's a
wonderful.
lot of help.
Yeah.
She spent a lot of time, and we've had lots of meetings over it, so it's been fun.
Good. Thanks for letting me put you on the spot.
No, but it's good for it to be recorded, so people watching will know the time and know what's happening, so.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
It's good for it to be recorded, so that people know the time and that this is happening. That's, yeah.
You're right.
That's all I got.
Okay, that wraps up the village manager report. Takes us to item 13.
Motion to adjourn?
Support.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes with flying colors.
48. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is really
I
good.
was scared to take the under today. We were under.
What?
Is that, because I have